It's a new day. Are you ready to make a change? A new partner to journey your way, to explore the things you never imagined. You're ahead of the race. Impeccable service, committed to forward together.
CalBank, forward together.
Don't forget the balloons,
Check.
the DJ,
Check.
and the drinks.
Listen, honey, I've got this party under control, okay?
Daddy, don't forget our birthday cake with the sparkly candles. Daddy, are you there?
The party's at 4 p.m., honey. Don't be late.
With the all-new CalPay on the CalBank app and website, you don't have to worry about carrying cash. Just place your order with your favorite merchant and pay with a Visa or MasterCard, mobile money or CalBank account, or scan and pay. Visit the Play Store or App Store and download the CalBank app today. CalBank app. Forget to cash.
CalBank, forward together.
Good afternoon, and a very warm welcome to you and everyone else who is joining us for the very first edition of our CalBank webinar series. We're coming to you live from the CalBank head office here at Ridge, and we're coming to you via Zoom, Facebook, and also Twitter. We're also live on Teams because we want as many people as possible to be part of today's conversation. The world is changing, and it's changing fast, and even more so because of the onset of COVID early this year. And so in all meeting rooms, in all boardrooms, in all strategy fora, in all conversations wherever you go, be it corporate or otherwise, in the SME space, generally in the business space, and even in our personal lives, the question is being asked, the digital age. What is the digital age? Oftentimes you hear people mention these three words very often, and these are the new normal. What is the new normal? How is that going to affect us? Today, we want to sit down and have a conversation on the digital age, digitization, if you like, and bring the conversation home to what we do here at CalBank, which is the business of finance and of money. To bring this conversation home a bit more closer, we ask the question, how can our SMEs improve or increase their value using the digital channels and the solutions available to us? We will be joined by a wonderful resource person shortly. I'll be introducing him, who will help us in this conversation. But before we do that, we want to take a quick word of introduction from our group head of retail banking here at CalBank, Mr. Jojo Wudo Hammond.
kind of products for SMEs. And all these products are geared towards improving the operations and activities of SMEs, ensuring their growth. But we know that they've been impacted by COVID, just as a lot of areas within our aspects within our lives have been impacted by COVID. So this program is geared to us. This program will highlight the issues that are confronting SMEs now. Highlight the issues that are confronting SMEs now. This program will show SMEs ways of going about new things, new ways of going about their business, the new normal, how to take advantage of working life beyond. So this program, I entreat all our customers, our SME customers, to take this program very seriously. It's a very interactive program. We'll learn new things. Our resource person is a very well-versed and experienced person who will show us ways of doing new things. And so I'm very sure that this program is very beneficial to all our SMEs customers. So I entreat all of us to take it very seriously, to take an active part, ask all the questions that are necessary, and then we'll take it out from there. But all that, just to remind all of us that this CalBank is SME focused. So we hope that after all the deliberations that we'll have here, our SMEs will be better impacted, our SMEs will be stronger, and so that we'll grow together and go forward together, as our slogan says. So thank you very much.
It's a new day. Are you ready to make a change? A new partner to journey your way, to explore the things you never imagined. You're ahead of the race. Impeccable service, committed to you. Forward together.
CalBank, forward together.
Don't forget the balloons,
Check.
the DJ,
Check.
and the drinks.
Listen, honey, I've got this party under control, okay?
Daddy, don't forget our birthday cake with the sparkly candles. Daddy, are you there?
Welcome back. Those were some heartwarming words of introduction from our group head of retail here at CalBank, Mr. Jojo Wudu Hammond. I'm very sure that before the end of today's conversation, he'll come back again and share some additional thoughts with us, and probably some goodies that are also available for our SME customers here on the show. Let me quickly share a few protocols for today's conversation, just so that we're able to get the best out of it. After I do that, I will then introduce my resource person for today. So can I please ask all of our listeners or all of our participants who have joined us via Zoom to mute all of their microphones, just so we don't get feedback across, because we're expecting quite a few people to join us via Zoom. We're also reminding all participants that this event is live on Zoom, on Facebook, and on Twitter, and also on Teams. Again, it's an interactive show, so by all means, do send all your questions through. If you're on Zoom, send your questions through the Zoom text box. If you're on Facebook, on Twitter, do same. There's a team here that's going to put all the questions together and send them across, so that when we get interactive, we will by all means ask those questions. And for those of us who are also participating on Facebook and on Twitter, when you send your comment, we would like for you to just use the hashtag CalBank Webinar, hashtag CalBank Webinar, just so we're able to quickly identify those comments when you send them in. There will also be some prizes for winners during this conversation. And when I say winners, we're going to be asking some quiz questions, if you like, 3 questions. And here's the criteria, very simple. we want you to stay as focused and as tuned to this program as possible. So the first person, or first 2 or 3, okay, I think my producer says the first 3 persons to get each answer correct will receive an award from CalBank. We will share details of that award subsequently. Also, for those of our SME customers who are watching us, CalBank is going to give us, once you log on to the program, indicate whether you're an SME and you're with CalBank. By all means, if we get that information, CalBank is going to give you 1 year support to build a website and to manage that website for free. And CalBank is also going to help you with a payment solution, payment platform, which is called CalPay. CalPay, I'll tell you a bit more about CalPay as the program goes on, but these are 2 things that are going to be available to you, definitely if you are an SME. If you have any questions about this before we share some additional information, you can give us a call on 0800 500 500. And so to my guest for today, he's a wonderful, distinguished digital sales and cloud migration professional with over 7 years of full-time consulting in digital marketing, also in digital growth strategy and advisory. He's a hands-on strategist with deep operational expertise with search, display, and video advertising platforms. He leverages his knowledge of best practices in Google Cloud, digital ads, and social media, also in web mobile analytics and other digital advertising webmaster tools. He's worked in many companies and consulted for a lot of SMEs here in Ghana as well. Ladies and gentlemen, my resource person for today's conversation is Mr. Simon Alangde. Simon, you're welcome to the conversation.
Thank you very much, Yaw.
I'm super excited that you're here because, you know, before we came on set, we're having this conversation about how things have changed so much.
Yes.
And we're laughing about it because we said we don't want to take the conversation out of trajectory, if you like, because today we're bringing it home to our SMEs and how they can create and improve value. And look at what's happening so far in Ghana. And I can't help but share this example that the consumer today, apart from being spoiled for choice and being king or God, as some people put it, has also begun to adapt to the exigencies of the digital world. And I use all of these social media channels, Instagram, TikTok, and all of that as examples. People have come to understand without sitting in the classroom that there's something called content. 4 or 5 years ago, the word content was a term only known to production crew.
Yeah, that's true.
But today, people sit in their homes and they create content. And this content is available everywhere. People have accounts, likes, followership. And people are beginning to understand all that.
Yeah.
How are we going to be able to bring all of that and the dynamism of the attitude online to our businesses and to be able to create value for them? The conversation today is how can SMEs create more value for their businesses using the digital channels? And you know, there was a scenario which we were discussing, which I'd like us to start with. And as we try and analyze that scenario, let's enter into the conversation in earnest and try and bring home some of the salient points that our listeners need to understand or to hear to help their businesses.
Yeah.
So here's the scenario. And I want to make it as local and bring it closer to them as possible.
Yeah.
So there's a company called Mamiesi Cakes or Mamiama Cakes or whatever you want to call it. You can personalize it if you're watching.
Sure.
So Mamiama Cakes or Mamiesi Cakes is a one-stop bread and cup cake boutique in Accra in Community 18. Due to the pandemic, their walk-in clients have reduced and they have almost no event orders. Mamiesi Cakes now offers a local delivery as new service to their repertoire with the aim to increase sales. How can we discuss this scenario in tandem with the discussion that we're having today in creating more value? Because of the pandemic, they lost orders. Now they're trying to diversify and introduce a delivery service.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this scenario.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Yaw. I think that for Mamiesi or Mamiama, which I think I will say Mamiesi, for Mamiesi to understand or even leverage digital channels to create value, she first needs to understand the benefits or the value of actually having your business online or bring your business platforms online. She needs to understand that, one, the digital ecosystem or the digital channels allow her to basically target specific groups, right? And because you are able to target specific groups or specific audience of that are related to your business, you are able to narrow down your marketing. Therefore, if you know that your potential customers are based on the demographic, they are female, they are basically people that go have a job from 9 to 5. You build a profile of that business, then that means that you're able to target them and put in those demographics into your digital campaigns. And therefore, that also means that you are saving cost compared to a traditional means of advertising. And it also allows you to kind of analyze, analyze in getting insights about your business. And therefore, when you are able to get those insights about your business, it can even influence where your next branch will be. So if I know that most of those who are ordering for my products, like my Macy, she's getting phone calls, and most of her customers are people ordering from Kumasi, and maybe she's been thinking about opening a new branch somewhere. Having that insight from the digital channels can even influence her to move to either improve upon a delivery or even open a branch in a place like Kumasi, depending on the data she gets about those who are engaging with her brand. So that's another key thing about having your digital channel online or having your business online using the digital channels. And that great thing is remarketing, right? Once, for example, someone visits her website or goes to or uses her social media channels, she can implement a tracking code which will allow her to remarket her brand, therefore getting people to come and continue what they did not finish in terms of their purchase journey. And of course, she can also use that as a way of building customer loyalty and retention program. Yeah. So for me, if once Mami Asia understands these benefits, right, she should be able to now look at what are other people doing online, right? What are other businesses doing online? And some of them are basically thinking about just increasing their brand awareness in terms of the product they are selling, or just about the company brand awareness, getting more people to know about them, to increase sales or to get more customers. Other people, as I said earlier on, are also trying to use the digital platform to build some kind of data or customer information, right? So that will allow them to perform remarketing or to even increase or kind of leverage those information to create what they call the customer loyalty program, right? So these are things that Mamiama should understand first, right? Precisely. Before thinking about creating value.
Precisely. Let me just quickly add, Simon, you know, when you were talking, you make the very important point about data and demographics and analytics. And I just want to chip in here that one of the key things that Manisi could also do to help the business, just like you have said, is to have data. To have data is to have information, and to have information is to have power. When I talk about data, the behavior online today, and I'm sure that as Simon goes on, he has those points, is to be able to know who you're selling to, how many people buy your product, how many competitors you have, what's available in the market. Time has passed when we used to do things and throw business at things and try them to see whether they'll work. Today, there's a scientific approach about everything. So you're an SME, you're a business owner, you're listening to us. What we're saying is that data is available. Trend analysis is available. Use that data to position yourself. And there's something that the business people call value proposition. Fashion your value proposition, and then you become relevant. Let's go into earnest into today's conversation on some of the tips on how our business owners can create value. Specifically the SME business owners.
Yeah, I'm not even sure that Mamesi might just be convinced by the words we are saying. So even before we go into that, let's look at the statistics.
Right.
How many people are online in Ghana? What are they doing online? So for example, if you look at the slides on the screen, you realize that the current population of Ghana is about 30 million. And then the internet users in Ghana is almost half of that. That's 50 million people are using the internet. Right, and this has increased by 5% year from last year, right? So that means that the growth or the interest about online is growing. Your customers are coming online. So whether Mamesi likes it or not, she needs to see how she can use the digital tools to grow her business, right? And then if you look at the statistics again, you realize that the e-commerce spend, right? The e-commerce spend in Ghana is basically increasing. If you look at in terms of how many people are using the e-commerce platforms in terms of getting food or using the e-commerce for food and personal care, that too has, there's a lot of increased spend there. So if you look at the data again, hopefully it will be on the slide. Currently we have $102 million spent globally from Ghana, right? 102 million spent on digital from Ghana, people basically using the digital platforms to buy food and personal care. So these are things that beyond me just, or we trying to tell her the importance of bringing a business online. There's some money being made globally from Ghanaians buying products in the food and care industry, for example. So what is Mami Esi doing in terms of getting her share of that cake, right? So, yeah, for me, I think it's very important for Mami to understand that these are some of the things that she can do.
There's a point you made earlier. I just checked that in quickly before we go. And the point you made is that there's 30 million people in Ghana today, hypothetically, right? And there's 50% of that number which are online today, they're active. And we're talking about the food industry. Year to date, $102 million traded just for Ghana.
Yeah.
So if people are looking for you and you are in the food industry, where do you think they'll go first? They're looking for the 15 million people potentially who are looking for your product online. So you could be good at what you do, but if you do, time is gone when you say my product will speak for itself. I'm sorry. Now you have to make noise about it. Simon,
yeah,
let's go ahead.
Yeah, so for Mami or Mami Esi to create value in terms of bringing her business online and using the digital channels, she first needs to understand who a digital consumer is, right? So once she knows who a digital consumer is, she can also prioritize on the customer journey, right? So because there are different moments in the purchase journey in terms of getting your customers to buy your products. So once she knows who the digital consumer is, she can leverage the digital purchase journey and see where in that moment can she get people to actually make that purchase. And of course, she has to also use industry trends or insights to understand how her competitors and even how consumers are what they're looking for on the digital platforms, and that would help her to basically create value using digital channel. So in terms of creating value, who is a digital consumer? By definition, a digital consumer is somebody who uses technology or digital tools, right, to make purchase, whether service or goods. Now, but there are certain attributes about a digital consumer, which is very important for Mami Esi to understand. One, a digital consumer is very, very curious. When you look at the slides, there's some statistics about the slides about the digital consumer. For example, in the slides, you realize that 80%, there's been an 80% growth, right, in the search phrase called best. So the number of people that are searching on Google and on the digital, through the digital channels, they are in their search patterns, the use of the word best bakery in Ghana, best place to buy a cupcake.
Top 10.
Very good. So a digital consumer is very, very curious. And for a brand like Mami Esi, are you available when they are curious about your business or about things in your industry? That's what Mami Esi should understand. Two, the digital consumer is not a patient one. They are impatient. They want to know where to buy cupcake now. You see the word now. They want to know places to search for or places to eat near me. So the phrase here is near me. And the near me, for example, phrase has also increased by 150% over the years. So you realize that the digital consumer is not patient. So once Mami Esi knows that the digital consumer is not patient, she should now look at what machine now, in terms of requirements, what can she do to stay relevant to that digital consumer? One, she should know their purchase journey. And for today's discussion, my main focus or our discussion here will be about the moments, the micro moments to which customers make or purchase something. The digital consumer is looking for convenience, the easy way and the fast way, right? And speed. 53% of the current users who visit websites on mobile, where if the website that takes more than 3 seconds to load, 50% are likely to move out of the site and go to the competitor. So once Mami Esi understands that these are some of the requirements she needs to meet in terms of being there for a digital consumer, then we'll focus on what? The purchase journey. So I'm going to take you through a potential customer, right? And if you look at the slides, you realize that there are certain phrases about that consumer. So this consumer, let's assume that consumer is called Charlotte. So basically, Charlotte is trying to buy a cupcake, and there are certain words she will search for. So we're going to let's understand that, and then maybe we can use that to build the scenario here. So, for example, she goes on Google search. What does she search? She will search for something like best cupcakes in Accra, right? So that is one moment. Let's assume that that's just something she's searching for. She's searching for, maybe after she enters a car to go to her workplace, she's searching again, cupcake boutiques or bakery near me. It's another search, but different from the first one. Then she comes again, bakery with delivery. She just wants to buy just cupcake. Look at how many different types of searches and the types.
Right.
Then she comes again and she goes to YouTube and she searches for how to make smoothie at home. Because she wants to have cupcake
with the smoothie.
So a smoothie. So these are different parts of moments in the person's journey that Mamesi needs to understand. And when she understands these micro moments, she can leverage the digital ecosystem or the digital channels to promote her business. So going back to the slides again, you realize that I've put into categories a school of thought that was developed in Google to talk about person's journey. So the first one is I want to watch what I'm into moments. So I want to watch what I'm into moments is basically someone watching what they are passionate about. So someone who would want to order a cupcake might just be passionate about what to do at home during the pandemic. Or there might just be people interested in their health because they feel that they need to balance their body. So that can be something they're passionate about. Then we have another moment called I want to know moments. These are curious people who want to know, maybe they've seen a TV ad. They've seen a TV ad about any product or any brand. They want to know more about what they have seen. Or it was too fast, so they want to Google or search about it. Then I want to go moments. I want to go moments is basically someone who actually wants to visit a shop or the location where they sell or provide the service she wants or he wants. So I want to go moments. So where we have companies or now transport companies who have even integrated the I want to go moments into their applications, right? Where now you can make an order of a car and they pick you up. And because that business, like Mamesi, has leveraged the I want to go moments, they are automatically on the transport plugins, right? I don't mention the name of the brands, but if you can make an order online, like for a car, those kind of brands. And then I want to do moments. These are people that will still spend, will still buy your product, but they might want to just know how to do something at home, right? So for a cupcake boutique or a bakery like Mamesi, for example, what Charlotte did, she still searched for how to make smoothie at home because she might not want to buy a smoothie, but she wants to buy a cupcake, right? And the last one is that I want to buy moments. That is when they actually want to buy, and that's where, for example, do you have an e-commerce website? Do you enable payments on your website, right? So these are the micro moments or the person's journey that Mamesi needs to primarily understand. And once she understands this, I can now take her through how to create the value.
You know, you make a very, very important point about understanding, should I say, the dynamics of the customer that you're dealing with. And I think we refer to it here as a customer purchase journey. Yeah. Understanding what the customer thinks about before they make a decision. And there's a very important point you made. They're looking for cupcakes, but the question is, what are they going to have with that cupcake? Yeah. All of these are things that we should begin to look at. So we're moving from the traditional area of making the product available, doing a good sale, giving a good value, to understanding the customer. Now everything is on the side of the customer. And I'm sure that as we go on, you'll help us understand this a bit more. If you've just joined us, we're live. We're coming to you in the first series of the CalBank webinar series from the CalBank head office here at Ridge. We're live on Zoom, on Facebook, and also on Twitter. And we're also broadcasting on Teams. And the topic we're discussing here today is how can SMEs create more value using the digital channels? I did promise at the beginning that we were going to ask a series of quiz questions. And the first 3 people to get each question correct would receive a gift hamper from CalBank. And so here is the first question. Fastest fingers. If you have the answer, you can send it to our Zoom text box if you're on Zoom, or on Facebook to our comment section. Remember to use the hashtag if you're on Facebook or Twitter, CalBank Webinar Series. CalBank Webinar Series. So here's our very first question. Once you send the answer, the production crew will pick it up, and then we'll be able to reward you at the end of the conversation. What type of account can you open on the CalBank app? That is the first question. What type of account can you open on the CalBank app? If you get the question correct, we will be able to pick your answers. Probably if my producer gets the numbers together, we'll be able to mention the names of the winners after the show. Just also remind our SME customers who have joined us that CalBank has a wonderful thing for you today. Essentially, we're going to be giving you free website support for 1 year, help you to build that also. And also, on top of that, we'll be able to give you an integrated payment solution known as CalPay. Now, I promised to tell you what CalPay was. CalPay provides an avenue for both customers and merchants to convert and do business. It is an internet-based solution which can run on corporate customer websites or on the Cal app or on the Cal website. This solution is also accessible on both a computer and a mobile device. With this solution, corporate customers can accept and receive payments for their services from anywhere in the world, and also receive prompt reports to be able to satisfy their customers. Additionally, if you already have a website, you're an SME, you already have a website, but you want to integrate into the CalPay solution, we're able to help you. By all means, just pick up the phone, dial toll-free 0800 500 500, or you can send us an email to customercare@calbank.net. When you do that, please provide your name, your business name, and your mobile number or email address. Simon, I want us to continue this conversation, understanding what the customer thinks when they are making a decision. This conversation is getting interesting. Now, it's no longer the traditional routes again. You want to understand what goes on in the customer's mind. It's getting interesting. Keep talking to us.
Yeah, so I think ideally, for the benefit of time, ideally I want to believe that Mamesi appreciates the value of one, creating the customer profile, and then understanding the purchase journey in that industry or for their business. So once Mamesi understands that she needs to build relevance, so when the customer or the potential customer tries to make a purchase or are in a certain moment, they can be relevant in that moment. So the main word is be relevant or be there in that moment. Then she can now leverage the digital channels. So I will start with having what they call the digital business directory, right? So the business directory is just like those times picking up a phone directory,
yellow pages,
searching for a brand because you have heard about a brand, or you want to call a certain office or a certain family. So it's still available and still very relevant. So for now, we have that what we call the business profile. So for example, a company like Google provides that for free. So for example, if I search for CalBank, right, if I'm using a laptop or a desktop, I would see that CalBank's business listing appears on the right-hand side of the search results on my laptop or my desktop. On phone, it will appear as the top. You would see ideally the pictures of CalBank or any other brand. So Mamesi, she would see that, the phone number, the directions, descriptions, and there are other things that she can leverage. She can actually ask people to book or make an order on that business profile. And basically, once they just click make an order, she can create a free form which is integrated to a business profile and get email immediately someone makes the order for any type of cupcake she's providing. And she can call them and, so that could even be an easy way or a simple start, right? So for me, the first thing I'll promote, I'll ask Mamesi to do is create a business profile. I'll make it possible that when people are looking for your brand, they will be able to find information about your brand. That the information they find is information that's coming from your business, and therefore it is important for you to create that. And then two, she can also leverage social media platforms. Today when we talk about digital marketing, everybody thinks about just social media marketing, right? Which is quite unfortunate, but yes, she can still leverage social media channels. But before she leverage any social media platform, she needs to understand the different type of social media channels and how relevant they are to her business.
I was going to ask about that.
Yeah. So, for example, there's so many school of thoughts about the different types of social media, platforms or channels. But I'll just mention a few. So, one, we have a kitchen sink. So we have some social media channels that we call them kitchen sink social media channels. These are channels just like a kitchen sink. There's everything in it, right? There's leftover food. There's what you used to eat, whatever you used to cook the food. All those different items are in the kitchen sink. So there are social media platforms like the one that I know most people are watching from today, Facebook. It's a kitchen sink social media platform because it's not just made for image or made for video or text. It's a 360 kind of social media platform. And then we have the image-based social media platforms. So we have the popular one again, which I believe some people are also watching from there, Instagram. So once she understands that image-based social media platforms are for businesses or brands that have things that you can see feel, right? Once you have a product that I can see and feel, right, you should be on an image-based social media platform.
Tangible products.
Yes, because one, it allows you can play with pictures. Because it's an image-based platform. And then we have themed platforms. So whether even video is a themed platform. So like YouTube is themed just for videos. Twitter is themed for conversations and text, right? So these are examples. And we have corporate, right? We have a platform like LinkedIn, which allows you to even talk to or search for people based on their job descriptions, based on the office they work. Some time ago, I was having a lecture with some students. I asked them, if you're looking for a job and you keep going to the office to put your CV down and the reception keeps sucking you, which social media platforms will you use to send your CV to the CEO? Mm-hmm. Because even though you don't know the person. And some of them could even mention LinkedIn, right? So brands need to understand that there are different categories of social media platforms. Because we're saying come online and leverage and create value, does not mean you should be on all of them, right? You should select what suits your brand. So she can leverage social media as one way of creating value, right? And when she has any platform, any profile on any of the social media platforms, one key thing she should understand is optimizing her business so that when people search, even within the social media platform, they would find her business. For example, if I'm looking for a bakery in Dansuma or in Spintex or in Community 18, when I search on Facebook or on Instagram, the mistake I see is that people post certain content and use certain hashtags that do not even relate to their business. Mm. But even hashtag or even the description is supposed to allow the social media to use this algorithm that when someone searches for certain categories, you will see the brand that suits that.
Pointed to your product.
Perfect. So she needs to, understand the social media channels and, use, and hopefully by the time we end, I will talk about digital sales best practices. So we'll talk more into that.
So let me just rehash this point you're making here. That obviously there are the channels that we know. There's Facebook, there's Twitter, there's Instagram, there's YouTube, there's Telegram today, there's Teams, there's all sorts of social media channels. But what you're saying is that you need to understand the product that you're offering first.
Yep.
And which of these channels or which combination of these channels is actually useful for your product. This is what you're saying.
Great.
What will you say to the person who says that, listen, I want to be everywhere, but I will focus on just a few, so that when they're looking for me, they will find me, because I don't know where the search for my company is going to start from, as I'm trying to understand the dynamism of the customer purchase journey. So what would you say to a customer or a business owner who says, I want to put my business everywhere first, and then as time goes on, I'll focus, if you like, on one or two of them. Would that be a good thing to do?
No.
Right.
You don't have to be everywhere. If you're actually everywhere, but you're focused on one platform, you are doing what we call brand inconsistency. And it is better not to have a brand online than to have an inconsistent brand online. Because what you're going to create is that the business, the potential customers will not be sure which of the brand pages is the genuine one, and even not sure about your brand, because in a certain social media platform you have less than 100 followers, and another place you have 1 million followers. So it even gives opportunity for other people to claim to be your brand, because you know yes, because you know because you are just everywhere, but you are focused on one. You realize that you might even verify the one that you are focused on, and the other ones are not verified. So anyone can claim to be your brand, right? So anywhere you are, any social media platform you are, dedicate to each of them. If you cannot manage all of them, manage a few, and don't be on the ones you cannot manage, right? For example, those times when Twitter came first, when we were back in campus, we used to say that if you have anger issues, don't be on Twitter, you know, because we used to tease people and they'll get angry and meet you at the hostel and try to, you know, beat you because you say something on Twitter. So basically, yes, that for that question, they should, any social media channel they should basically be there for good and manage it well, right? So in terms of Mamiesi, another thing Mamiesi can do is to have an e-commerce or a channel where they can actually make purchase of a products, right?
Before you talk about that point, would you recommend SMEs who are listening today, who are saying, listen, all of this thing is new age. My company has been here for 10 years, 15 years. This is new, but I find that I have to diversify to be relevant in these times and in this space. Would it be right to say, number one, get help? And in getting help, get someone who's a consultant who knows about these things. And number two, get people on your staff who can do these things for you. Get dedicated resource. So would it be right to say, number one, get help, number two, get dedicated resource? Because let's not assume that everyone listening knows the channels and they can just go to them. We're talking about the customer purchase journey and all that. Someone is listening for the first time and they're saying, I know about the social media thing, but really, I've been doing this for 25 years the same way and it's worked. Can we just say something to that category of people who are watching us today?
I'd like to start the last thing you said. You have been doing this for how many years and it worked? Well, the thing about digital is that, for example, there's no fixed budget. There's no fixed amount. Like nobody, if you're running an ad on any of the digital platforms, there's no fixed amount of money you should pay every month. So if you run a digital campaign with $5, which is literally 25 cedi or something like that, if you like the results, then you can increase your budget. You can want to spend more. You can spend the $5 for a day, for 3 days, and if you like what you're seeing, you would increase. But for me, in terms of hiring and in terms of outsourcing, I think the first thing any person in leadership for any company should do is to equip themselves to understand the basic things, right? Things like cost per 1,000 impressions. What will it mean? Cost per click. What does it mean? You know, any person in leadership that would want to leverage digital skills should have some basic training on this, not technical, but the overview of digital, so that even giving out the brief or giving out the goals they want to achieve, they'll actually be telling us the real goals, not copying some brief somewhere and send to us to develop a strategy for. You know, so for me, the first thing is equip yourself. Even in leadership, you can have digital leadership training, which should not be too technical, but at the same time, you would be able to understand when you are talking to a technical person. And then, of course, allow or let your company brief transformation, right? One of the issues that brands have is that they find it difficult to adapt to change, right? Today, so you might go and do a presentation, and the person presenting to you might be a 16-year-old guy, a young man, and you will not give him the business because you are scared he'll run away with your money because he's 16-year-old, and maybe 16-year-old guys might not be as matured as you would think they should be. But you should be able to understand that digital ecosystem or within the digital industry, age is not the way of knowing or building experience, but understand the technicalities and playing with the tools every day. Playing with the tools every day can actually be a way of, having the experience than the age. Yeah.
I'm super excited. We're sharing a lot of thoughts here. I mean, and I'm writing them down so that at the end of this conversation, we can sort of summarize them for our listeners. Because the question we're asking and we're discussing is, how can our SME customers, and generally by extension our business people, improve value in their businesses using digital channels? We did mention at the beginning of this program that guests, selected SMEs who do not have websites will receive support from CalBank, 1 year free support for building your website and also maintaining it. And we're also going to integrate a payment solution in that offer for you. To sign up for that free 1 year offer, just go to our website, and once you're there, you make your indication known and then leave your name, your number, and also the name of your company, and we'll get back to you and provide that support. Otherwise, you can also give us a call on 026-151-3247. That's 026-151-3247. I did mention that we're going to be asking a number of questions here on the show, and the first 3 persons to answer each of these questions would receive a prize. I've already asked the first one. I'm sure my producer is putting the collation together. But here's the second question. And again, fastest fingers. If you're on Zoom, send the answer via our Zoom text box. You're on Facebook, you're on Twitter. Prefix your answer with hashtag CalBank Webinar Series and send your answer to us. If you're on Teams, you can also do the same thing. And here is the question. What is the USSD code for the CalBank mobile banking service? What is the USSD code for the CalBank mobile banking service? Fastest fingers, send your answer across. Once you're able to get through, first 3 persons will receive a gift hamper from CalBank. Simon, let's round up this conversation as we're getting into the final bits of it. I want us to get interactive at some point and allow our listeners to ask questions so that we can answer them. So let's continue.
Okay. Because of the tools I'm going to share and the resources I'll be sharing for any SME like Mamesi to leverage for digital, let me talk about a website. So ideally, Mamesi should be looking at having a platform that will allow her to sell, right? To sell her products or to allow people to order for her products. So assume that she has started that process or she would leverage the CalBank opportunity. One key thing she should know is that in terms of from viewing the products on the e-commerce platform to actually making that sale, there should not be more than 3 steps, right? I should be able to add, view my card, make purchase to whatever platform or whatever integration. But once you have more than 3 steps, you lose the customer at a certain point, because the digital ecosystem allows or gives a very open play field where your other competitors might have quicker sales or purchase steps. So one key thing is that Mamesi should ensure that they should not have more than 3 steps in terms of the e-commerce payment structure. Speed is very important, and I will share a few places that she can test the speed of her website. Another thing Mamesi should look at is make sure the developer, or she can learn herself if she has to, because it's not very difficult. It's just to ensure that they install a data analytics platform on her website so that she can be able to track and analyze the data in terms of how many people are coming to her website a day, in the whole month, which geographical areas are the people coming from. And then, even at a certain point, she should be very interested in the bounce rate of her website. And bounce rate means the percentage of people who come to her website and leave without viewing other pages or performing certain actions on the website. A very high bounce rate means you're actually losing customers, or the customers who are coming to your website came there by mistake because maybe you are doing wrong branding. You are telling them you sell cupcakes, but you only sell bread, for example. So these are some of the things that Mamesi should consider when it comes to optimizing your e-commerce platform. And hopefully, those who would sign up for this CalBank e-commerce package, I've been informed that I'll also be having some series with them to tell them what to do in terms of having a very good e-commerce platform.
Yes, indeed. I'm sure that you still have a lot to share. We'll juice everything out of you before you go, by all means. But we want to get interactive at this point and taking a few questions which are coming from our listeners across all of the platforms. Before we do that, though, let me just quickly put across the final question. And while you answer that, we'll go for a break and come back. But here is the final question. If you can answer it very quickly, like I said, if you're on Zoom, send it through our Zoom text box. If you're on Facebook or you're on Twitter, by all means, send it and prefix it with hashtag CalBank Webinar Series. Here is the final question. If you get it correct, or the first 3 persons to get it correct, receive from CalBank a gift hamper. Name the 3 digital platforms the bank currently provides to customers. Name the 3 digital platforms the bank currently provides to its customers. While you answer that, we'll go for a quick commercial break. When we come back, we get interactive. Stay tuned.
Get the balloons,
Check.
the DJ,
Check.
and the drinks.
Listen, honey, I've got this party under control, okay?
Daddy, don't forget our birthday cake with the sparkly candles. Daddy, are you there?
The party's at 4 p.m., honey. Don't be late.
With the all-new CalPay on the CalBank app and website, you don't have to worry about carrying cash. Just place your order with your favorite merchant and pay with a Visa or MasterCard, mobile money or CalBank account, or scan and pay. Visit the Play Store or App Store and download the CalBank app today. CalBank app. Forget the cash.
CalBank, forward together.
It's a new day. Are you ready to make a change? A new partner to journey your way, to explore the things you never imagined. You're ahead of the race. Impeccable service, committed to forward together.
CalBank, forward together.
Don't forget the balloons,
Check.
the DJ,
Check.
and the drinks.
Listen, honey, I've got this party under control, okay?
Daddy, don't forget our birthday cake with the sparkly candles. Daddy, are you there?
The party's at 4 p.m., honey. Don't be late.
With the all-new CalPay on the CalBank app and website, you don't have to worry about carrying cash. Just place your order with your favorite merchant and pay with a Visa or MasterCard, mobile money or CalBank account, or scan and pay. Visit the Play Store or App Store and download the CalBank app today. CalBank app. Forget to cash.
CalBank.
Welcome back. If you've just joined us, this is the CalBank Webinar series, and we continue with our conversation. How can our SMEs improve or increase their value using the digital channels? If you've already been with us on this conversation since we started, we say a big, big thank you. Continue to stay with us. But we also want to hear your thoughts, your questions. Send them to us through those chat boxes. If you're in Zoom, send them to us through the Zoom chat box. On Facebook and on Twitter, send them to us through the comment section, but by all means, prefix it. CalBank Webinar series. We want to hear your thoughts, we want to hear your questions. We want to make this conversation interactive so that we can all make our businesses grow and become better. Let's not assume that everyone knows everything. We always say here at CalBank that do not reinvent the wheel. Someone has already been there, someone has already done that. Let's all learn from it. We're also glad to acknowledge some of our SME customers who have joined us. We're going to acknowledge them in a bit. Rotina Pharmacy is an SME customer of CalBank. Thank you for joining us, Rotina Pharmacy. And if you do not have a website, Rotina Pharmacy, take advantage of this offer that CalBank is making. We're going to give you free website support for up to 1 year, and we're also going to help you and integrate our payment solution onto your web platform. Picante Shop. Picante Shop, you're also in Tema Committee 25, and we acknowledge you. Thank you for joining us here on this conversation. UPPI. I think you've also joined us on this conversation. Thank you for joining us. I'm sure that we'll be getting a few more of our SME customers who have joined us so we can acknowledge them and be a part of it. What we're trying to do is to build a community. It's no longer just selling a product to you, but being a part of your life also, so that we can make our lives better. If your life is better, our lives are also better. Simon, the questions are still coming in, but I always like to do a bit of a summary in every conversation we have. And so in all of the things that we shared here today, what's the takeout? What should an SME listening to us remember as the summary points for today's conversation? If they remember nothing from today, what should they take away from this conversation?
Summary. I think I used to have a lot of issues in my English class summary.
God bless our English teachers.
I think one key thing they should take out from today's conversation is that there are a lot of opportunities in the digital ecosystem in terms of the channels available, but they should not be anywhere and everywhere, because we are saying that digital is key. But everywhere they are, it should be because it's relevant to their business, and they should understand the different movements in terms of the purchase journey. Once you know, if your customer wants to buy this product, he would go on YouTube to Google about the product. Or if you are able to use YouTube, like for example, to let your potential customers know that you're a thought leader in that industry, then when they are ready to buy a product or leverage your services, then indeed you can use that advantage that you're a thought leader in the industry, and that will work for your brand.
Right. I have a few points that I wrote down here as my summary from today's conversation. And for those of us who are listening, if you like to take notes, like I like to do here on my device, please write these things down. And Simon, I know that we'll continue to talk as we answer the questions and get interactive.
Sure.
And dissect a bit more some of the issues which you probably haven't been able to talk about.
Definitely.
But these are my summaries from today's conversation, that as an SME, as a business, this is how you can improve your business through the digital channels. Number one, it's important to understand the customer purchase journey. Understand the customer. It is now the customer's game. It's on his side. It's no longer on his side. You need the customer. The customer may need you a little bit, but you need the customer more than they need you. And when I say the customer, it's not that person across the other side of the screen. We are all customers at some point, like I say. When you come to work in the morning and you stop to buy that cup of porridge, you're a customer. When somebody walks into your shop to get a haircut, they're your customer. So the customer is not a bad person. The customer is all of us. So understand the customer journey. That's number one. That's how you can improve using the digital channel. Number two, make yourself available where the customer is looking for you. And this is where the digital channel comes in. Simon mentioned that very strongly. Make yourself available where the customer is looking for you. Where is the customer looking for you? 15 million of Ghana's 30 million people are online. So if they are looking for you, they'll be looking for you online. Earlier on, Simon, when we were preparing for the show, you did mention that at some point you had a problem with your gas stove at home. And the first thing you did was you picked up your phone and said, gas repairers near me. Now that's what people are beginning to do. They're not going to wait for the gas truck to come around. That's where, that's online. That's on all the channels we've spoken about. Number 3, get help. Get a consultant and get a dedicated resource. If you have never done the social media thing, Simon talked about getting training, getting equipped. But if you can't do it yourself, you don't need to do everything yourself. Get help. There are people who are trained like Simon to offer this service, help you understand how you can integrate your business. Somebody says, I'm selling cocoa beans. How can I diversify and use social media? That's what people like Simon get paid to do. They will help you to understand how you can tie your business to the digital space and make some things. The next thing I've also put out as a summary is get data, get analytics. Information is out. Simon talked about analytics. There's a company in Accra whose salespeople doubled their sales in the last 3 months. And this is how they did it. Every morning they had a briefing that shared with them competitor information. So when they went to the market, they knew what the competitor was doing. And whenever you're selling a product, you must understand that if you have data, you have power. You can help the customer to understand why they need your product so that they don't throw good money away. And the final thing is that change is upon us, so diversify or perish. Hopefully we won't perish, we will diversify. So these are my summary points on how you can improve your value as an SME using the digital channels. We hope that this conversation has been helpful, but we'll begin to take your questions now. I have a couple of questions on my console now. Simon, this one says, okay, it would be good to add your name or the name of your company when you send these questions so that we can also acknowledge your company. This one didn't come with a name, but it says, what are the primary barriers to digital channel adoption by SMEs and how can they be surmounted? Very briefly, if you like.
They ask questions.
Like a thesis question, I know.
And they still say briefly.
Yes.
I think one of the challenges or barriers in terms of companies adapting digital channels is readiness. In the sense that a company says that he wants to come online, they're leveraging digital, but they're not ready to dedicate a phone number for just digital. They're not ready to give certain coupons that when someone comes to their shop to buy, they can use that to track that the person know. For example, there's something we call influencing offline sales using digital. So you can actually have direct sales using digital, but within our ecosystem, you have businesses that actually have offline sales, but that were influenced by digital campaigns. So companies are not, one of the barriers that some companies have is that the readiness to provide that atmosphere that you can track beyond just online tracking. You can track with certain things to know that this sale or this advantage I had was because of the digital campaign. So therefore, the digital campaign influenced the offline sales. So for me, I think one of the key barriers is company readiness. Not just about paying a social media person, but for example, you have a phone number that anytime someone rings that phone number, you know the only way they got the phone number was through online. If someone calls to buy a product, you ask the person, do you have a code? Maybe the person gets the code online and you give the person, after 10 sales, the person gets a discount. Then you know all the sales that you got from that code were because of the online campaign. Therefore, beyond the online way of measuring, you have a complementary offline way of tracking the online impact on the offline sales. So for me, one of the key barriers is company readiness. Yeah.
When you talk about company readiness, it sort of sends my mind to this scripture in the Bible. It says that where your treasure is, there your heart will also be. Essentially, what we're saying to business owners is that, listen, if your business is so dear to you, then take the pains. Don't only invest in the infrastructure or the process or the resource. Also invest in yourself, change of mind. You must change your entire attitude about this online approach. I've got another question here. This one says, what e-channels should service vendors employ as opposed to goods vendors? What e-channels should service vendors employ as opposed to goods channels? And I think this question comes to the final point you were making about not needing to be everywhere, but depending on the product, that should determine, plus other exigencies, where or which digital channel you should use.
Yeah, to be frank with you, I'll be wrong if I just start saying that they should go to this social media platform or this digital platform. One, because we can have 3 different service providers, but they have different types of customers. Some want their services for the mass population, and some are just for a few type of customers who might not be on mass or popular social media platforms or digital platforms. So we need to also understand who their potential customer is for us to recommend which channel they should use. Nevertheless, for a service company, ideally, as I said, you should have on almost all the directories that are available online. So there are some that are free, there are some that are paid, because people that look for services always usually Google. Google here means search. I'm using the word search as the search. They can search on Google, they can search on social media, they can search on directory platforms. But the most important thing is that be there when they're looking for your service, right? So for someone who is providing a service, what places or what channels can you provide a description of your services? Any place you can provide a description of your services, you should be there, and you should manage it. That even when someone come and asks you, do you also provide this service, you should be there to comment. But the mistake some service providers do is that they put their services on a platform and they forget about it. A customer goes there to ask a question. You don't reply.
For 2 weeks, it doesn't get answered.
2 weeks is small, 1 year. If I am the person, or if I'm a competitor, I will actually spend my time going there, and I will, anytime someone asks a question on the search platform and you don't reply, I would reply the person directly and tell the person, oh, I can provide the same service, but it's a different company name. I've taken your customer. So they should be careful. You just don't go spend all the energy to put in your services. Meanwhile, there are people who have further questions. And the same way you wanted to put your service online, they also want to reply you online without making the call. So yes.
So let your product or service determine, but once you decide which one you're going to use, make sure that you're available. A few more of our SME customers who have joined us online, we just want to quickly acknowledge them. We've got Enifreji Enterprise of KJTR branch. They're into alcoholic beverages. You have joined us in this conversation. We'd like to acknowledge you. Thank you for joining us. We also have Kobi Asma of Type Company Limited. Kobi Asma of Type Company Limited. You are a graphics and print company, and you've also joined this conversation. You're an SME customer of CalBank. Thank you for joining this conversation, I beg your pardon. We also have Mr. Augustine Ketson of Zamax Agro and Transport Services. We have Ernest Achampong of Lapsa Pharmacy Limited. Jeffrey Ejekum of Jages Bar. We also have David Amwa of Pice Restaurant in Kumasi. And we've got Majid Haddad of Multico Limited. You have all joined us. We also have Mamba Gas and Solo Spring of our Ring Road West branch. You have also joined this conversation. I have another question here for you. Before we go though, like I promised, we will be taking some final comments when we get there from our group head of retail again as we close this. But that is not until a few minutes to come. Next question we have, this one also doesn't have a name. He says, how can a courier service bridge the gap in a way that provides convenience for business and the consumer in this digital space? How can a courier service bridge the gap in a way that provides convenience for business and the consumer in a digital space? This one is from Abbas.
Thank you very much, Abbas. Abbas, one mistake most courier services make online is that they are trying to sell a courier service to everybody in Ghana, yet they cannot provide a service to everybody in Ghana. So, for example, courier services are location-based businesses. And therefore, if you are providing a courier service, that means that there's a certain radius that you can only provide a service for. And therefore, once you know that radius, and let's use, for example, Tamale, or let's use Community 18. I'm a typical like Tema, so Community 18 or Community 3. You realize that the business there or your customers are within those communities. And if you want to run an ad, for example, you should use what they call radius targeting. That only those within those locations, whether they are at office or whether they are home, when they're using Facebook, they will see an ad from your business that's saying that you can, so even you can develop the campaigns to suit the working hours. So if you're running a campaign, or if I spend like $5 for a campaign on social media, you can ensure that from 9 to 5, the ad that we see is work more, stress less. Use my business, our business to deliver the things you need to do.
Right.
That way, the campaign is targeted because they are within the location that your service provides. To the timing you are sending the ad suits maybe that current state. So therefore, when you are doing this, you are spending less money because if you are using a small location, less money, the impact is fast, and you can even analyze to know which within locations within those geographical areas are even getting more calls or requests for service.
Right.
So yes, Abbas, you can leverage radio targeting and other tools to promote your business.
Okay. This one is from Charlene from Pisces Foods. It says, how do we access data analytics on social media or off social media, I beg your pardon? How do we access data analytics off social media? So, this one is Charlene from Pisces Foods.
Charlene.
Yes.
Okay. So Spices Food.
Pisces Foods.
Okay. So great. I think for social media, all you have to do, if you have a page, you have to go into your settings, which is free, right? So you go into your settings, you will see insights, and you get the information you need to know about the people that interact with your page. You can even know within which hours of the day do people actually come to comment or like your post. You can also know which days of the week do people actually come to comment more or request for certain things on your page. So you can have that data which is inbuilt on the social media platforms. But then you have third-party platforms that have, like someone like me or someone else has developed an app that integrates with social media platforms to give you other insights that might be hidden to your eyes, but because of the coding, they're able to write it in a language you would understand. Right, there are international ones like Fanpage, Kama, there's socialbakers.com, there's HotSuite. There are different analytic platforms that you can use for your social media, which some are free, some are paid, depending on how detailed you want.
So it's available online?
Online.
Just research it.
The important one I will mention is Google Analytics. That's off.
Google Analytics.
That's off social media. Right. So you can analyze your campaigns. If you are running an ad on any website somewhere, you can analyze where they are coming from and all of that. Yeah.
Okay, this one you didn't add your name. He says, what are the ins of getting, he's trying to say, what are the benefits of getting your payment platform into our online service? Okay, that's going to be a whole conversation, but by all means, give us a call on this number I'm going to put out. You didn't add your name. Give us a call on 026-151-3247. That's 026-151-3247. We'll be happy to share with you all the information that you need on the benefits of our CalPay solution or payment platform. Alternatively, you can also give us a call on 0800-500-500. That's 0800-500-500. We're also joined again in this conversation by David Opong of Nana Abba Transport Limited. And he is a customer of the Ring Road West branch. Thank you for joining this conversation. So I've got a few more questions. This one is from Charlene again. Okay, Charlene, I've done one question from you, so I'm going to do, this one from Isaac. It says, how do we convert followers into purchasing customers? How do we convert followers into purchasing customers? In about 30 seconds, if you please. We're going to take more questions, so.
Build brand love. Build brand love in the sense that stay relevant to them. So if you have got followers, in fact, the first question is, what type of followers do you have? The mistake people do is that they can have 1 million followers, but the followers that are following your brand are not interested in your brand. Maybe you got some agency somewhere who just got the followers. So it's about getting quality followers. So that if you even, assuming you are paying to get the followers, and you're using a platform like even Facebook to promote your page, you should choose the kind of industry or the type of people or the interest of the people that you want to like your page. So that when you post something, that post that you have made is relevant to them because there are followers who are already interested in the topics that you're you're about to share. But if you have a very vague and open followers, it will be very difficult because you are going to sell something that they might not be interested in, or you are actually trying to promote something they're not interested in. So first of all, have quality followers, people that don't have to want to buy your product immediately, but are interested in your industry. So for example, if you want to get new followers using Facebook, for example, you can target people that are using that are interested in food and beverages, because you are like Mamesi. You provide cupcake and boutiques, cupcake and bakery. So basically, if I see your food, I will say yummy. I will reply. Your engagement, you realize that these guys are potential customers. So you can even send them offers, promos. Oh, if you buy 5, you get 1. If you buy this, you get that, because they are really interested in your brand. So they are quality followers.
Right. I've got a question here also on social media, and the question is from Isaac Owusu. Isaac is asking whether, he says, do I need a CalBank account before I can have the CalBank payment platform plugged to my website? The answer is yes, you do, Isaac. Yes, you do. But for more information, I'm sure you have a lot of follow-up questions. Give us a call on 026-151-3247, or you can also give us a call on 0800 500 500. That's 0800 500 500. We have a few more customers who have joined us, SME customers. We have MJ Steel Company. MJ Steel Company, thank you for joining this conversation. We also have Ashok Balani from the Swami branch, Managing Director for MJ Steel. Ashok, thank you for joining this conversation. We also have Edward Tego for Family Care, and these are all from the Swami branch in Kumasi. They have joined us all the way from Kumasi, and that's the magic of online, if you like. Okay, so I've got a few more questions. I want to get as many in as possible. Okay, this one, you didn't add your name. It says, is social media marketing better for B2C or B2B businesses?
All of them. The most important thing is know your customer. If, for example, you know all your customers are CEOs, you ask yourself, when the CEO wakes up, what does he do? Maybe he reads news online. So, and what time does he read the news online? What time does the CEO go to the office? So maybe from the time the CEO goes to the office to within that period, what do the CEO do in the car? So once you know the different, you know the customer, you know what the living conditions the person lives, you'll be able to target them and be there in those micro moments, even in their normal life, even before person's journey, so that your ad is relevant to that person, and therefore you can make sales. So whether it's B2B or B2C, you need to understand the client and follow. In fact, the first thing you should do before you come online is take a pen and paper and draw your potential customer and put arrows and put attributes of that customer in terms of online. And when you know those attributes of that customer, you can now engage them in those different moments in their online journey.
Okay, we'll take the final question, and then we'll go to the closing comments from our group head of Rita. I wish we could take a few more questions, but hopefully we'll come your way again some point pretty soon, and then we can get to extend this conversation. This final question says, as a small business owner, what are the most effective ways through which I can adopt... Sorry, I'll take the question again. As a small business owner, what are the most effective ways I can adopt in increasing traffic to my website? As a small business owner, what are the most effective ways I can adopt in increasing traffic to my website?
As a small business owner, I want to assume that you are trying to save money, and therefore you want more of the free goods, right? So one tool I recommend is Google Search Console. So Google Search Console. So a Google Search Console is a platform that allows you to let Google or tell Google about your brand. You know, one of the issues that most startups have is that when they search for their business, they can't find it on Google, or they're not among the top results in Google. That's because maybe Google is not aware of your brand. You know, it's a search engine. It has so many thousands of people to index, brands to index. So instead of letting Google find you, tell Google about yourself. And the easy way you can do that is to go to Google Search Console. It's a free platform. You would put in your website address, you would add some few other information, and it now allows Google to index you within a day, and therefore your results can easily begin to appear. So
while you talk about that, there's a point here. I just add that this one is from Precious Mauli. Okay, Precious Mauli. I can't pronounce the last name. It says, where can we go to learn more about digital marketing for free? I think it's in line with what you're talking about. So if you could just finish off with that.
Definitely. I was actually going to mention that, but you can just go to g.co/digital skills, or you can just type digital skills. It's a program by Google where you can learn about online marketing, or you could just basically reach out to me. I'll share my email before I go, and I'll provide you some of the tools you can use to learn, some of the platforms you can learn. And then there's Facebook also has Facebook Blueprint. So Facebook Blueprint is also a learning platform by Facebook, which is free. The only difference between the Facebook platform and the Google one is that the Facebook platform, you have to pay for the exams, which is the Facebook Blueprint. But for the Google Digital Skills Program, the certification for Google Ads is also free. But of course, passing it will be a bit tricky. You have to learn more and practice more.
Right, we have a few more customers. All too soon, our conversation is coming to an end. We have a few more SME customers we'd like to acknowledge. We'll do that very quickly, and then we continue with the conversation. We have Royal Diasa, Atlantic Catering and Logistics, Black Trace Company Limited, Jamesh Pharmacy, JMP Foundation, Absam Company Limited, Donisaf Company Limited, Iman Capital Microfinance, Cospel Safety, Bacchus Wines, Broadgate International, JR Foundation Spring Pharmacy, Susan Yemedi, and Nafisa Antaru from USA. All these are from our East Legon branch, also from our Inshaesu branch in Kumasi. We've got AgroSite Ventures and Bebcop Star Company Limited. These are our SME customers who have joined us for our today's conversation. Thank you so much. We are grateful that you've joined us. We will be taking those comments from our group head of retail shortly, but before that, we'll take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
Okay, thank you very much. So, as promised, we've had a very interactive and very interesting event. Questions, very insightful questions, and very good answers. And it all fits into what we want to do for our SME clients. So to summarize some of the things that we've learned, one of the key things that we learned is that we must understand our customer, understand their journey in the digital space. And then to be able to do that, we must know that our customers the digital customer is always impatient and curious. And so to be able to understand them and meet their needs, must always be there, always be available near where they are. So it's very important. And we also learned that there are various social media platforms or channels where we can reach out to our customers, and there are various types. We have the themed or video type, we have the corporate type, we have the generic or kitchen sink type, and then we also have various ways where we have to attract our customers. We learned that there are some barriers to that digital channel adoption, and the two key ones are attitude and readiness. So to be able to address that, we must have the mindset to be ready to adapt to all the changing environment, to adapt to the challenges of social media, adapt to the opportunities, and able to identify the opportunities that are available to us on social media. So these are some of the things that we learned. We also learned that it's important to do analytics, to invest in digital analytics, and then invest in investing in digital analytics. We're able to understand our customers, we're able to understand what they want, we're able to understand the flow of customers, and then we're able to understand, appreciate, and explain to them what we want to sell to them, what we want to offer to them. So it's very important to understand what our customers need. And to do that, we have to take our digital analytics very seriously. All this fits into what the CalBank wants to do. All this fits into the new way of doing things. As a bank, CalBank, we understand that it's important to embrace the digital space, engage the digital way of doing things. For instance, we all know that what the group of people that we call the millennials, those and the Generation Z, those from the ages of 18 to about 35, 40, make up between 75 and 80% of the whole Ghanaian population. So to be able to address the needs of these customers, these type of customers, we must understand that they only deal with the digital space. So we must, for us SME customers and as SME businesses, to be able to attract this segment of customers, we must learn how to play on the digital space. And so this fits into what CalBank is also doing. We've rolled out various digital channels. We have the CalBank app, we have the mobile banking, we have the CalNet, which is our internet banking. So we entreat our customers, our SME and cherished SME customers, to take advantage of all these digital channels. And they help us in making our payments, transfers, trade business. So entreat all of us. If any of us have not yet signed on to any of these CalBank products, we entreat all of you to sign on. Our relationship officers and branch managers are also available to take, and our financial inclusion department also available to take all of us through all these channels, and so that we can embrace them and use them to improve our business and grow our business and profitable. So in a nutshell, thank you very much for being here. We thank you, cherished customers, for participating in this. As you have promised, there will be some goodies that we'll share, especially those who joined us. There will be free setup on website development. We have a team that will be in charge of that. So we'll get in touch with you through the branches, through those of you who directly ask questions or directly participated in this program. So we'll get in touch with you so that we can help you set up, and then you can take advantage of the digital space and digital offering. Thank you very much for being with us. And this is the first of the series that we're going to have. Between now and the end of the year, there are various series that we're going to, webinars that will roll out to meet the needs and growing needs of our SME customers. So stay put. and watch out that we're bringing you new webinars on various topics as well. Thank you very much.
Right. So those were some closing remarks, very warm and promising indeed from our group head of retail here at CalBank, Mr. Jojo Widohamon. Jojo, thank you so much for those wonderful words. A few more of our SME customers, we just like to acknowledge them. They've taken the time out to join us, so we just like to acknowledge them quickly, and then we round up today's conversation. We have Adiabeba Hospital from the Nshaisu branch in Kumasi. We have Sanako Motors. We have Nkrumah GPS, also of the Ring Road West branch. And then we also have GM Good News FM, Augustine Addo from St. Peter's School. We have Cedar D Ventures, and we also have Multitech Systems. All of these are SME customers from our Takrade Market Circle branch. We did put out a quiz, 3 questions we asked, and we said that the first couple of persons to get the answers right would receive gifts from CalBank. The questions were these. I'll just go through them very quickly. Number 1 was, what type of account can you open on the CalBank app? The answer to that question is Snap account. Snap account. Second question was this: what is the USSD code for the CalBank mobile banking service? The answer to that was *771#. *771#. And the third question we asked was, name the 3 digital platforms the bank currently provides to its customers. Again, the answers are the mobile app, which is the CalBank app, mobile banking, which is the *771#, and internet banking, which is our CalNet. I've got some names here, and these are the winners for our quiz competition today. I hope that in addition to your names, you put your contact numbers there as well. If you haven't, please do that quickly so that our production team can get in touch with you. The name I have here is JXT Ifia. That's the first name. The second person is Evans Yabua. The third person is Bright Ahedo. We also have Dada Kwejo, is also one of our winners. We have Derek Aite. Derek Aite, you're also one of our winners. And the last name we have, which is on Zoom, you didn't give us a name, you gave us an alphabet. So I'm not sure whether the alphabet is Q. That's the alphabet we have for your name. We hope that you can come back and give us a real name and some contacts. This has been good. It's been a great conversation. This is, like Jojo said, the beginning of many in the series of conversations to bring our business stakeholders much closer to us. We want to say a big thank you to you for watching, staying with us for this 1.5 hours on Zoom, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Teams. Thank you for taking the time out, your bandwidth, sharing time with us, and asking your questions. We also want to say a big thank you to our resource person, Mr. Simon Alangde. His details will be shown on the screen so that if you want to get in touch with him as a resource person to help your business, your SME, to grow. Remember, one of the things we said as learning points and a summary of how, as an SME, you can improve your business was to get help. Get help. Simon is one of those people who can help you. His details are shown here on the screen. All too soon, this conversation has come to an end until we come your way again next time with yet another edition of the CalBank webinar series. This has been the first edition, and we've been broadcasting to you live from the CalBank head office here at Ridge. Thank you so much for staying with us, and see you same time when we come to you next. Thank you for watching.